Well, hello everyone. This is Joe Tortonesi coming to you. Welcome to Joe's Drum Shop. Today we're going to be talking about three different songs. Possibly, this is going to be the last page in the book. We'll be getting to that hopefully today. And we're going to go through the first one. This is called "Time Is on My Side" by the Rolling Stones. And it's going to be in a different time signature than we're used to. This is going to be in 3/4 time. And basically what that means is that when you're in 3/4 time, every measure has to count up to 3 instead of like in 4/4 time, which is common time because that's usually what most of us play in popular music. 4/4 time would be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And in this case, we're going to be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. And throughout this whole song, it's going to pretty much be on the ride cymbal. There's no hi-hat, so I'll just probably use this as a timekeeper. You don't have to do that. It's not written in, so you don't have to do that. But I'm going to break the song down, and we'll kind of go over all the little individual pieces, and then we'll play it up to full speed. So first of all, let's start off with, we're on, page 21. And on page 21, it says "Time Is on My Side." It says fast. Its quarter notes equal 220. And the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 measures are all rest. This is where the intro comes in. It has to be like with the organ. And then once it comes in with the organ, after 8 measures, then the drums start with a crash. And here's the pattern it's going to be. Now it's going to change a little bit here and there, but here's what the main part of it's going to sound like. So it's going to be like this. Okay, and as you can count that, basically it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bass, snare. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's going to be the first part of it as it's going through that. It's going to have some little fills, and I mean really small fills. One of the fills is just going to be where the snare drum taps in between one of the ride cymbals. And then it's going to go into a little bit more, intricate pattern. And I'm going to do that now. That's on page 22. So we're looking at the top first measure of page 22. I'll play that. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now when I got to that measure, that's the third measure on the first line of page 22. It starts with the snare first, and then it does that little snare between the rides. So you're going to go snare, ride, snare, bass. And then back on the next measure, it's going to go back to snare, then a bass, and then 2 snares with an 8th note. So 2 8th notes right there. So I'll play that 2 measures, and then we'll get back into a normal pattern. So here's what it sounds like. So I'll start at the very beginning measure of page 22, the first line. It'll sound like this. Okay, and as you can see, it got back into the beat right after that little fill. And these are pretty fast. Like I said, the metronome marking on this is quarter notes equal 220. So it's pretty fast. It's cruising. Let's go on to the next patterns on line 2. And again, we're on page 22 on line 2, first measure. It's going to start with the snare drum first. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Notice the ride cymbal is going to be doing something different now too. It's going to be going 1, 2, 3. And that just makes it a little more fancier kind of a ride cymbal pattern instead of just going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way through the song. So we don't want to do that all the way. It makes it a little more interesting by doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let's try that again. I'm going to do the second line. Do it slow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now, we're on the last line of page 22, and it's going to add some toms. We're going to use the small tom and the larger tom, which is called the floor tom. And the way that pattern's going to go is you're playing the snare drum and the ride together, and then you're going to go one ride by itself, and then one tom with the left, and then the floor tom with the right. So it's all together, it's... Okay, let's put that together, and I'll play the whole last line, because it's going to do it twice. So we'll start off with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now we're ending up on page 23. Again, same kind of stuff, still going through the basic pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go back to page 21 on the second line where it says section B. All right, so let's kind of go over that little fill. I just played it. I want you to see how I'm actually doing that. So I'll break it down again. It's going to be, we're on the page 23, the second line, first measure. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then we go back to page 21 at the section B, like boy, and we're going to back and play the crash and do the main patterns that we went over all so far. Now, this actually goes back and forth 3 times. So as we go through this, we're going to get up to the next page on page 3, and the second time through, we're going to end up in section D, which is the bridge. And that's kind of like where a lead guitar solo is going to be at. And again, the bass drum and the snare drum's playing pretty much the same as before, you know, playing the main beat, just kind of keeping time, so to speak. No fills really until towards the end of that, which is going to be on the next page, on page 24. All right, so first of all, let's take it from the bridge. After we did that fill, I'll play that fill again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to go to section D. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1. All right, we're coming off of page 23, going on to page 24. Again, still continuing the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're on the second line of page 24, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, notice the part where I stopped at on line 3 on page 24, the last measure gets me to go back to, it's called the DSL coda. So we're going to go back to section B, and above section B, it's got that little fancy S with the line going through it and the 2 dots. That stands for find that fancy S, and then the next thing that you go to is the coda. Now, the coda is actually going to be on page 23. Right above letter D, or the section D at the bridge. And then from there, you're going to jump from that coda sign down to page 24 in coda, which is the coda section. And it's the E is the last section. So you're going to do that pattern. And I'll do that in just a minute. But I wanted to kind of calculate, so when we play that bridge section, we're going back and forth from the coda and then going from DSL coda back to coda, and then from coda out to the rest of the song. And then that's pretty much the song, okay? So I'm going to start with the, let's start, let's see. Okay, let's take it from section B again. We're coming back. This is the last time through, and I'll play it all the way through a little bit so you can kind of get the feel. I'm going to do it slow. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, We're actually on page 23, the top line. I've just got done playing the first two measures. I'll start that line again at page 23, the top line. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And right there, that's where the coda is. We're going to drop to page 24 and the E section. And you'll see it says coda right above the E. And I'm going to play that 2 lines. And we have to play that 3 times because there's a first ending, a second ending, and a third ending. And the third ending is the last one. And then the song ends. So here's that last coda section on section E. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then we go back to letter E again, section E. Play that whole section one more time. But now this time I'm going to pretend I already played that just for time purposes, and I'm going to play the last time through, and we're going to go to ending 3 and then end the song. So here's how that sounds. So last time through, section E. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And that's pretty much the song in a nutshell. So I'm going to play this now up to speed so you can kind of get an idea what it's going to sound like all together. And again, I hope I, showed you the correct way so that you can kind of see how things are. It's kind of like a road map, and you have a map. It's a lot easier to get around with the road map as opposed to just not having anything and trying to find your way through it. You can get lost really quickly. So it's important to know those little signs so that you know where to go next, just like a regular road map, okay? All right, let me pull up the song here, and we'll get started. Here we go. right, as you can see, that's the song in a nutshell. Very fun to play. Totally different than your average rock beat because it's in 3/4 time. So again, that 3/4 time, talking about it, basically the top number of 3 means that how many beats are in the measure, and the bottom number 4 represents what kind of note is going to get 1 count. So 4 always represents quarter notes. So it's basically saying that there's going to be 3 quarter notes in every measure, or the equivalent of 3 quarter notes, because that would be pretty boring if everything was just quarter notes all the way through the whole song. So as you can see, that's Time Is on My Side by the Rolling Stones. Very fun. Let's go on to the next one, and that is going to be one of my favorite bands of all time, the Beatles. And this one's called Twist and Shout. And let me get these papers worked out here. I'll put these over here. All right, and Twist and Shout actually has, let's see, 1, 25, 26, and 27. It's got 3 pages, and I'm going to take the first page. I made a copy of this earlier so that I can kind of follow this, and I'm going to break this one down for us today as well. This one's going to be at quarter note. This is the metronome marking. Quarter note equals 127. And let's see. Do we have some repeat signs? Yes, we do. We have first and second endings. We have the coda. So we're going to be going back to the fancy S and then going to the coda. I'll go over that in just a second. Just kind of reevaluating what all we're going to be doing with the song. So it's only 3 pages. Little different than the last one was 4 pages. And let's start off basically like this. Now, when Ringo did this song, the book is kind of making this a little more simpler. And the reason why is because some of the stuff, the techniques that he did, requires a little bit more time involved before you can play it like the way he did. So I'm going to play it just like the way the book is, just so you know. So if you notice something different from the record, obviously the book's playing it a little different. I'm not changing it myself. It's just the book's doing the changing. All right, so the first part of this, it has what they call a lead-in count. And we're going to count off the song like this, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to start on the snare drum, and the snare drum hits 3 hits along with the guitar, because the guitar's going to go bum, 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 and then the whole song starts. So that's what they call a lead-in, a measure, so that we can get the song started just before it starts, okay? It's pretty interesting. Not all songs do this, but this particular one, they did that. So again, every time I go da, 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 the guitar's playing along with that. Now, one thing that's really interesting that Ringo did was he started playing flams. And again, this is one of the rudiments, the 26 rudiments. The main ones have this rudiment called the flam, and a flam is basically this. It's a left one down, right one up, and I'm going to hit the sticks together almost at the same time, and I make kind of like a two. You can hear 2 sounds, but it's 1 hit, and that's the difference between a regular hit like that and a flam. So that's a flam sound. Now, during the beat that he plays here, instead of playing on the hi-hat, because he could have played hi-hat and went, but there was a lot of songs from the 60s that were already doing that. So he obviously, Ringo being the mastermind that he is, thought of a way to kind of do that pattern, but just on the snare drum. And what he did is he pretended that his right stick was the hi-hat on the snare drum. And so he would keep the beat going like this instead of like this with a hi-hat. But then what he did was he added that flam on double. So instead of like going 1, 2, and 3, 4, he would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in. So again, it's a different way of playing, which is really kind of cool. I'll start off the beat a little bit and you kind of hear what that sounds like. So it's okay, and that's what he's doing in the beginning of it. But then he does go and we start playing the ride cymbal throughout the song. And there is one part section in section D where it goes to the hi-hat, where it kind of calms down a little bit and kind of quiets down just a tad. And then it gets back to the ride cymbal again, okay? So the first fill coming off, so we're on the first page, we're on the first line. I kind of did that beat for you, and in between the beat, he's going to do a nice little fill on the snare drum too. So he doesn't even have to move around the drums. He can stay right on the snare drum and do some of the fills as well. Because again, remember, these toms are here to play fills, but you don't necessarily always have to play fills on the toms every time you want to do a fill. Sometimes you can do stuff just on the snare drum. I remember when I took drum lessons a long time ago, one of my teachers said that, you know, it's good to play maybe a fill doing the bass and the snare, or hi-hat, bass, and snare. You don't always have to do something with the toms. And I was like, wow, I never thought of that. So I started to experiment, and I started coming up with my own ideas. And I would see other famous drummers, professional drummers do it, do something different, and I picked up on that as well, because it's so important to listen to your favorite players. You know, there's so many great drummers out there, and they've got a lot of great ideas as well. They're all, you know, scientists in the drumming community and coming up with different ways of playing patterns and fills and stuff. So you can learn a lot by watching, and I did a lot of that in my younger years. So, all right, the first thing that he does, the first fill, it's going to go 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and. Up to speed a little bit. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and. And then he goes back to the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then we do that fill again. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and. And then that's when it jumps to the second line, which is section B. We call it the chorus. And they start singing at this point right here. And it's playing the ride cymbal, so we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice that pattern is the same kind of pattern that I was playing on the snare drum, and earlier I played it on the hi-hat, but it's the same pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Same idea, just a different way to play the same pattern. So he plays that throughout, and for the, let's see, the first line, second line, third line, he's going to play a little different fill. He's going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to play the last line on page 25. So here's what it sounds like. And it's going to go back to the beat again, and we're into section C, which is the verse. All right, now we're on page 26 at the top, the very first line. And again, playing the same beat that I just played. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go on to the second line. It's still playing the same thing. So I won't play that right now, but we'll go right to the first ending. So when we get down to the third line on page 26, it's going to have another little intricate little pattern. And it's with a whole mess of 16th notes and some 8th notes. So I'm going to play that slowly so you can hear the pattern. So it starts off with the ride cymbal and bass. 1 and a 2E, a 3E, a 4 and. I'll play that once again. 1 and a 2E, a 3E, a 4 and. And then right from there, that first ending, we go back to the beginning of page 25 in that section B again, because we have that double bar, double dot. That's the beginning of it. That's on the second line, by the way. And we're going to play that the second line, third line, and fourth line through again. And I've already covered those measures. Then we go back to page 2, we play that. And then the second time, when we get to page 2 for the second time, you'll see it says 2 coda. Now, we don't go to that yet. That's going to be coming up later. But right after we get done with that ending line 2 on page 26, we're going to jump right down to ending 2. And it's going to play this little pattern. Here's what it sounds like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again. And then from there, we're going to go into section D, which is the guitar solo. And that's why we have to play a little softer, and our hi-hat is going to be a lot tighter and not so open, so like the ride cymbal is, where it gets a little more volume. So we're going to kind of close the hi-hat up, make it nice and tight. And again, the pattern's still the same. It's going to go 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now, when we get to the section E, that's going to be the bridge. It's going to be a little different than the chorus and the verses. The bridge will go back to the ride cymbal, and you're going to play the snare and the bass in the same spots to make a little accented sound, and they're on different spots. So the first one we're on page 26, the last two measures, where the bridge is, it's kind of, they're going to do this little pattern. It's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're continuing on to page 27. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, right there, we're going to start building it up. We're still continuing with that pattern a little bit, but now the bass drum is playing a lot more frequently. And that's the third measure of the top line, first line on page 27. It's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. When we get there, you notice at the very end of page 27, the last measure, if you look up at the top in the corner, it says DSL coda, which means look for that fancy S. We have to go back to page 25, and on that second line under, or I should say above, section B in the box, that little fancy S is right there. We're going to play all of that again. Finish up page 1. We're going to go back to page 2. And then this time, we're not going to go any farther. We're going to go to the second line, and you'll see where it says coda. And we're going to jump literally right across the page. Boom. And that's going to continue on for the last 3 lines. I'm going to go over those 3 lines right now. So let's take a listen to this. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Now we're on the last line of page 27. It's the last section called F. It's the outro. And we're going to go kind of what we did at section E, the bridge. We're going to repeat that same pattern again. And it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then the last 2 measures are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and crash. So that is Twist and Shout in a nutshell. If you guys, again, if you have any questions about anything that I'm going through, we're going to put up an address that you can kind of email address so that you can send any questions that you want, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them as quickly as possible and send them out to you and get those questions answered for you. But let's start this off. We're going to start the Twist and Shout. Let me get the song pulled up here. And it is this one, Twist and Shout. Here we go. All right, well, that's pretty much that one. That's Twist and Shout, and by the Beatles. Very fun to play. It's definitely one of my favorite Beatles songs, too, by the way. That one just had a lot of energy when they recorded it. I just loved Ringo's fills on it. It was really cool to listen to for the first time when I was younger. And still to this day, it's still fresh to me. I still love hearing it. All right, we're going to go on to the last 2 pages of our book, Drums 1, Songbook 2. We finally reached the end of the book, and there's only 2 pages. This is called Walk, Don't Run, and this is a kind of a neat little song that doesn't have any singing in it, so it's one of those instrumental kind of songs. Mainly the guitar players are playing solos and stuff like that, and that's basically what this is all about. So it starts off at a tempo of, and this is fast rock, a quarter note equals 158. So we're pushing it. It's pretty fast. Again, a normal tempo would be like 120, so this is way above at 158. The 16 notes at the very beginning of this, it's going to have some accents in it. Now remember, an accent is a note that you play a little harder with than one that doesn't have this little arrow shape. You're going to look at page 28 at the top, the first measure. The 16th notes have a little arrow above there pointing to the right, and that's what they call an accent. So that accent note is going to be like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and again with the bass drum added on all 4, you're going to get this 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Now, just like we did on the Beatles song, remember the pattern we played? Again, this is around the 60s, so again, this beat was played a lot in a lot of famous songs. So the first beat that we're going to play, and it's just like the one we did at with the Beatles, Twist and Shout. Here's what it sounds like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sound familiar? Of course, that's the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. Only this one is going to be a little more driving force, so to speak, because the bass drum falls on all 4 downbeats. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The ride cymbal will play along with that on the 8 notes. And then the double snare at the beginning, and then at the end just 1 snare. So it'll go. All right, now that beat plays pretty much through the whole song. So that's what makes this song easy to do as far as the pattern. It's got a few fills in it, and we're going to go over those fills, but mainly the fills are 16th notes, so it's not too bad. A couple little twist fills that I'm going to go over in just a second, but again, the whole thing is just that pattern back and forth, just over and over again. At section, we're going to go on page 29 for a second, and at section D, the pattern's still playing that 4 in the floor bass. I like to call it 4 in the floor bass. But it'll switch at the very bottom, and it'll start playing just bass drum, snare, snare, bass, snare, or 1, 2, and 3, 4. Kind of like the old Beatles pattern. We'll call it the Beatles pattern because it's very similar. So, and it also does that at section C too. It's just playing a bass on 1 and 3. Snare drum 2 and 4, so it's got the basic rock beat, the very first one we started with when we started this whole section. So basically this is how it sounds. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is through that whole section C. And at the end of section C, it's going to do that regular 16th note pattern that we started in the beginning of the song, and it's going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Again, I'll play that again. And everything's right, left, right, left. If I'm playing the snare drum, I'm doing right, left on the snare drum. It's all 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. That's a good little exercise, too, to practice if you're on your drum set, just to get the timing and, of course, get the precision of hitting that bass and snare without doing a... Remember that? That was called a flam. We don't want that flam sound on this. We want the hit the snare and the bass drum together so that it sounds like one unit hitting. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E. Very important to keep those together so that your beat and your rhythm and everything sounds solid. We don't want it sloppy. Sloppy's no good. We want nice and tight. Okay, and then the rest of it, it comes up with that on the last line of page 29, it's going to have that DSL coda. We talked about the DSL coda on the Beatles song. And when we play that, after we play the 16th notes that I just showed you, the DSL coda is going to go back to page 1 again, and you're going to look for that fancy S, and it's on second line of page 28. And we play all of that rest of page 28 again. And this is the second time through. We play on page 29. We do the first line, second line, third line, fourth line. When we get to the fifth line, you're going to see it says 2 coda. We're going to play those first 2 measures on line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we want to jump down to the last 2 measures of where it says coda. And you'll notice the last 2 measures will be this. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1E and 2 and 3. Again, that last part, 1E and 2 and then a bass drum 3. And then you can say 4, but you don't have to hit anything because it's a rest. All right, this is pretty short. Okay, short and sweet, as they like to say. This came out in 1960. And let's play this. All right, and that's the end of book Drums 1, Songbook 2. The next time we have my other show, my new show, it'll be about Drums 2. Now that book right there, it's a different book altogether. It's going to be, instead of having red on it, it's going to show blue. And it's going to say Drums 2 only, no songbook. It's actually just kind of like, remember the first one that we got into in this first series? It was just said Drums 1, and there was no songbook. We had to go through and learn all the basic, the notes, what a measure is, time signatures, what symbol, ride cymbal or a hi-hat. All the toms were on different lines. We had to learn the basics. Now we're going to take that a little step farther in book 2. So I hope you guys stick around and, again, watch the next show. It's going to be really important. I hope you enjoyed this show. Until then, you guys take care, keep rocking, and I'll see you on the next show. Have a great one. Take care.